Entrance to grace. What keeps us from accepting grace and gaining access to eternal life? One thing that keeps grace from reaching us is a hard heart. A hard heart breeds ignorance of divine matters and comprehension of them is obscured. Another thing keeping grace from entering our hearts is the materialistic side of ourselves. The fleshly mind is hostile to God, it cannot, in fact, it will not submit to God's law, Rom 8:7. How can grace support a soul that has resolutely chosen to reject God? In light of James 4:4's teaching that enmity with God results from friendship with the world, how can God's grace accept a soul that is utterly dependent on this world? Pride not only obstructs but totally prevents the flow of grace. Our God, who is against the arrogant, Job 50:31, is also one who opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble, Jes 4:6. The impurity of the heart is another barrier to the flow of grace. Notice how God told Peter, "You have no part or share in this, for your heart is not right before God." Greed and idolatry are the same thing, Col 3:5. Zacchaeus and his entire family experienced salvation when he gave up money, the love of which is a root of all kinds of evil, 1 Timothy 6:10. The wealthy young man's obsession to fortune was his tragedy. The devil's direct influence is another significant barrier that prevents God's grace from entering our lives. Grace will begin to fill their hearts after the powers of evil are driven out via deliverance. God gives us grace and eternal salvation, these are not our rights. Given our inherent sinfulness, we are undeserving of these gifts. However, the kind God welcomed us into his reign and pardoned our transgressions. We must forgive others in order to merit God's forgiveness and salvation, just as God pardoned us. Let's reflect to determine what is preventing heavenly favors from reaching us and pray for the ability to make the necessary corrections.